What's going on, everybody? What's happening?
What's up? What's up?
Man, I just got this text from my nephew.
Okay.
You know, we talk about collegiate sports.
Right.
Oregon Ducks just granted unlimited NIL.
No. No.
You know who runs the
Yes.
Oregon program, right?
Yes. Yes.
None other than Phil Knight himself.
Yes.
This is getting
It's interesting, especially with somebody at Colorado State, Colorado.
well, they're in a different
Oh,
conference
that's
now.
right. So
Remember?
now they're
So
gonna be
the
in it. That's right. That's right.
Oregon moves to the Big Ten.
Right.
Colorado moves to that's to the Big 12. So yeah, the Pac-12 is gone.
Oh, right. Oh, shoot. I
But
forgot.
unlimited. So if you don't know what NIL,
What kind of money is
it's
that?
supposed to be name, image, and likeness, which is supposed to be so that the college athlete can now make money based on their name. They get an endorsement with the company or they get sponsorship with somebody, but that's not really what that means. And what that means is that the boosters now can pay the players
Right.
however much they want. Man,
Right.
it's about to be insanity.
They're gonna be making more than some NFL players, bro.
Exactly. Why go to the pros? I go to college.
Right. Right. I can just go. Why go to the pros?
Why
I
go
go
to
to
the
college.
pros? I go to college.
Still a kid.
Unbelievable. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining us. We are local musicians,
XP.
and we are here for your viewing pleasure. We got a
Yes.
nice little show lined up for y'all. We got some funny stuff. We got some serious stuff.
Yeah.
We were supposed to have my good friend and sometimes boss, the mega talented Michelle Malone, but I dropped the ball on that. I didn't do any promo for it, so I didn't want to bring her on without having let everybody know for a day or two. And so we are going to have her on at the end of the month on the 30th. So Michelle, if you're out there, you're checking it out, thank you for rescheduling with your boy. So yeah.
You gotta show this right off the bat, see if you agree with that.
Let's see. John Lamatina, what's going on, John? I think they should pay drummers anything that's what I've been saying, man. Where's the NIL for drummers, man?
Is ILL, y'all illin'. That's what y'all do.
Speaking of drummers, brother Larry Wilson came out last night, man.
Larry Wilson
to the
Black
section.
Orchestra.
Ain't seen that cat at our because he has a session almost at the same time. I'm like, bro,
Yeah,
how you
right
gonna work?
it's over with 10 o'clock.
He had plenty of time to get over there, but he came over and blessed us, man, for a nice little. Yeah, he sounded good too. I video tested him, man. I just video that, so now I can steal all his licks. You know, couldn't have done that. Now I got you.
Did he play piano too? I wish I could have taken some of that too.
You know, he didn't play piano, but I got him on video. Because
Nice.
you know that's what we do. Cats will tape you and keep it for themselves.
Right.
And you know, a couple of y'all know who y'all are, and so I was like, oh, I could do that too. So I don't have to let this out, so everybody I can see it, study it, get my little stuff. You know, get what I like. He did something real nice, man.
Okay.
That I'm taking. I'm definitely taking.
I don't know
it's
if people
mine.
know how big of a deal this is, bro. But
what's that?
I had a gig in Miami, bro. At this, it was a church thing that I had to play for.
Okay.
And we had a lot of downtime. So it was it was like the Ritz out in Miami, right? Just living the life. It was beautiful, right?
Right.
So I go down to the lobby. They got an Afro-Cuban salsa band playing, right?
Right.
So I hear this cat playing this Montuno, bro. And I'm like, oh, shoot. I'm going to sit down, listen to this cat play, right?
Right.
But man, I'm sitting on the sofa. I'm just trying to be like close to the band, whatever. And I'm just listening to it and I'm hearing what he's playing. I'm like, man, this thing is about to come. I'm like, this is the lesson right here. I was like, I'm figuring it out because if you know anything, Latin cats don't share like Montunos and none of that kind of stuff. Man, I was just figuring it out and I saw the cat look at me, right? I tried to play it off. I looked off to the side like that, right?
He stopped doing what he was doing.
See, yeah. So the end of the song, he came over to me and said, "Hey man, are you a musician?" I said, yeah, man, just a little bit, man. I'm not playing for a church musician. Like that.
Just a little bit.
He's like,
I play at church every now and then.
he says, he said, "Do you play jazz?" I said, "Yeah, yeah, I play jazz, whatever." He said, "Come sit in." So they called me up to sit in. I was like, "Oh, dang, okay." I said, "Well, this is cool."
All
So
right.
man, start playing. This cat whips out his phone, starts recording everything that I'm playing, right? I said, "Good." He opened the door, bro. It's like, when your girlfriend passed gas first. Like, okay, now I can rip a couple. Bruh, I got back up there. I got off the piano. He's like, "Man, great. Anytime you want to sit in, bro." I was like, "No, man, y'all go." He back up. They didn't play one salsa song. They played da 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 da. Da. I was like, "My goodness, man."
Oh,
He
not
said,
the
"Man, why don't
satin
y'all play
dog
one of those
joint.
things?" He said, "You got it,
Oh,
man. You got it." I was like, "No, man, I don't have it, man. I want to videotape you." He said, "No, man, it's cool, man. You got it. You got it." I
he
was like,
got you. Yep.
"Oh,
He got you.
got me, bruh."
Got you. Yep. Yep. I went right behind Larry. It was like, shoot.
She got it
He
good.
shouldn't have pulled. I'm telling you, he shouldn't have pulled this one thing out, man.
Right.
I said, that's what I need right there. That's what I need right there to
Right, right.
tie in some of my stuff right there. He went to this solo. He went to the snare drum with the bass drum accents. I said, "Ooh,
Oh,
I
okay.
like that."
Right.
You go hear it on Monday.
I'm here.
No, you gonna hear it on
I'm here on
Saturday.
Thursday.
Actually, you go. Oh yeah, you hear it on Thursday.
I'm
Actually, we
here
got
on
something on
Thursday,
Thursday.
bro.
Yeah, you're gonna hear it on Thursday. You're gonna hear
Okay,
it on
okay.
Thursday. All right, so we got a few things. Housekeeping, of course. If you are on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, like the video. That helps us out a lot. Share
Yep,
this show wherever you feel like it might be welcomed.
yep.
If you are on Facebook, you can like us at Local Musicians XP.
Mhm.
If you are on Twitch, you can follow us and subscribe there also. And if you are on Instagram, you can like our page and follow us. We're trying to get to Instagram, but man, Instagram's have some problems, dude. I
Yeah, I noticed
think,
that. Yeah.
I think, I think TikTok has like has buried Instagram. I mean, just like in terms of, at least in terms of the the cooking, the comedy, like just the run of the mill stuff that people really like.
Right.
It's rolling, man. And I don't even, man. I have resisted TikTok for so long. I have no. I think I might have one. I've never used it, but we may have to roll on over there because that's
Dude,
before it gets banned. About to
my
get
phone
banned, but
downloaded it and then I had to take it off. I was like, I'm already on TikTok.
so, but yeah. I just think in terms of people, doing that, just scrolling on stuff. But
Right.
they've done a number, man, on IG. We need our social media uh, enthusiasts to let us know, because I don't
Yeah,
have it.
man,
I don't think I mean, I get sent, obviously, people, my sister-in-law is on there, so
Mhm.
she'll send stuff, uh but and then I'll see where people have posted from, you can post across
Platform.
the platforms, right? And
Right.
I do see a lot of like the TikTok um brand on,
Right.
which means that it went there first.
Right.
Maybe,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
it had to generate, yeah, it had to be there, it had to come from there first. So,
Mhm.
but anyway, we will get our trusty producer on that right quick when he gets back from New Orleans, bro. He's
Hey,
eating beignets and po' boys and drinking daiquiris right now.
did you fly out, Brian, or did you drive out?
Of course he flew out first class. He flew out, man.
I needed some stuff back, bruh. Needed some stuff
I
back, bruh.
man, I asked him. I said, man, hey, if you
Let me
go
guess, you
to
want some
the
coffee.
what's the drug, what's the spot you get the CDM at?
Oh yeah, you can get base
What's the
everywhere,
what's the
but
grocery? There's a I
oh,
can't
you
remember
get
what it's called.
Zucardos or not Swagman's. It's called something else now.
I can't remember. Hey man, but Brian, I'll text you actually, but bring me back some bricks of CDM, nothing else. Let's make that clear. CDM is coffee, everybody. CDM is coffee. But
Cocaine. No.
and if Tom Gross is watching this, I know he gonna want some too. So
okay.
So but yeah, we need some CDM, man.
Chicory, man.
But listen, man, it's actually he's checking in and he's being so gracious by gracing us with his presence. But today is actually Brian's birthday, bro.
Wow.
So we gotta wish
happy birthday, brother.
We gotta wish the Falgoo a happiest of birthdays. He is 27 years old today.
Nice. My wife's birthday is tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, and Billy Thornton, they share the same birthday.
Okay. All right. Well, shout out to you, Roberta, and to Billy T.
Yeah.
Billy
Happy
T,
birthday,
man.
Falgoo, man. Eat a dough bash cake for me, bro.
Yeah. And while we're at it, in the birthday world here, we have to wish our friend a happy belated birthday to Mark the Foot Podhorser. The Foot. We call him the Foot.
Because pod means foot.
And his birthday, I think, was Saturday, I believe.
Okay.
So we're going to
July 6th?
Something like that.
That's why I heard all those fireworks, bro.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of I got some fireworks for you, actually.
Okay, what you got?
If now I give you a no, I can't do that. Sandwich from the pull boy shop, too expensive. But well, no, okay. If you don't laugh at what I'm gonna show you,
okay,
I'll buy you a sandwich at the po' boy shop.
Okay. Putting my face on.
All right. So speaking of fireworks, we're gonna honor our brother Kebby Williams. You didn't even see it.
I did see it.
Oh, see, you already lost.
Well, go ahead, play it.
You just lost your
I did lose it. I wasn't expecting that one because I haven't talked to anybody about it yet.
So keep trying to tell people about Kebby Williams, man. He is
It's like Godzilla attacking Tokyo, bro. It's like Monster Island, bro.
So if y'all can't figure out what that is, it is Kebby Williams playing saxophone.
I got a question for you, bro. You ready for the question?
What's the question, man?
What people don't see in that video clip right there is the cat who lit the thing, right? Did the cat light the thing because he was getting away from the fireworks or he was getting away from the saxophone? Which one was it? He's like, I can't be in the way of this saxophone, bro.
Dude, man.
Dropping bombs, bro. He's dropping bombs.
My God. Who else Who else, man?
Earlier, absolutely priceless. You're exactly right, Gadden. Absolutely priceless.
Dude.
Look at this. Interstellar Space: The Return. Bruh. Ah. When we had Kevy on the show, bro, remember I asked him about when he was beating up that car, man.
John Lamartina says was attitude in 78. Yeah, that
That's
was
the
in
way they
Kevin.
played the last 4th of July.
That's his own. That's his own time signature, whatever
Oh,
that was.
that's mixed. That's
Whoa.
mixed minute. That's mixed meter for your behind, right there.
Oh, oh my god,
Oh
dude.
man, only
Man, I've watched
Kevy,
that. I've watched that like 20 times, man.
only he would
We,
think about that, bro. And he didn't even run, bro. I mean, he was right there in the thick of things, bro. He could have caught some friendly fire or something, bro. Oh my goodness.
man, if there's a such thing as no fear,
I
it is
found
that
myself
cat.
analyzing it, bro. I found myself saying, "What? That kind of worked right there." I'm like, Tyrone, shut it down, bro. Don't even think
Oh,
about that,
jeez,
bro.
man,
Uh,
unbelievable, unbelievable,
Coltrane would
unbelievable.
be proud, huh?
No doubt,
Oh wow.
no doubt. So if you didn't see that, we'll bring it back at the end of the show because it's gonna be that should be our opening theme. Actually,
Pow!
we just
Oh, bro, I couldn't even. If I'd have known, I probably would compose myself. But I started laughing right off the bat when you said it, bro. I missed
yep.
my opportunity for a sandwich, bro.
It's your opportunity, man.
Oh,
It's your opportunity. So yeah, so we got some stuff this week. Red
yeah.
Light Cafe tomorrow. You
Wait,
are there, Kurt.
yeah, Red
Are
Light
you
Cafe tomorrow? That's not
are
tomorrow.
you
No,
well, are you there tomorrow?
no, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I'm on there
So
with
I
you
was
the next.
thinking you were there.
No, no.
We're there next week.
Yeah,
But
I'm at.
I'll be with Mike Veal tomorrow night at 10 Roof. Thursday, we are at the Distillery of Modern Art with Paul Fisher.
Right.
That's this coming Thursday. That's basically a jam. So if you're a
Yes.
musician, jazz musician, you want to come out and play, you can definitely do that. I've got a private thing with Friday with Mike, and then we have what do you got? You have anything Friday?
I have nothing Friday.
Or maybe it's not private. It's at someplace I've never played at though, but
Okay.
on Friday. And then we're
Saturday,
at at the lib. What lib? We're at
Wolf Creek Library for Camp Creek,
Wolf Creek Library Saturday at
2 p.m.
2 p.m.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that a free? And that's a free show. Is that a free
It's
show
free. I
or
believe it is. Yeah.
okay? With the great Carla Harris, we will
And
be
Kelly
there.
McCarty on bass.
Kelly McCarty on bass.
Right.
So we'll be there on Saturday afternoon, and then that evening I'm gonna go. My boy George Sluppick is in town. Great drummer playing with Robert Cray. So he has
Okay.
invited me and the wife out to check. They're playing with the Doobie Brothers, bro, up in
Oh wow.
Alpharetta somewhere. So get to go up there, hang out a little bit, and hopefully chat it up, man, with
Yeah.
Robert Cray a little bit, man, and my
Nice.
boy
Cool.
George Sluppick. So, and then we got stuff that we will announce here shortly that we got. Did we make a decision on I'm gonna leave it to you, August or September for
Oh yeah, I have a meeting tomorrow. So
oh you got a meeting
Thursday.
tomorrow. Okay, so
Yeah.
so we've got another LMXP.
Jam session.
Well, that's what was not
Invited.
really a jam.
Invited
Yeah, we'll find some kind
participation.
of crazy thing for it, but where we have select students come out play
Right.
with us, and that is going to be at the Balzer Theater.
Yeah.
So it's going to be in a concert setting. We'll probably play a little bit up front,
Yeah.
and
Immersion.
we'll
That's
talk
what it's gonna
about
be. It's
yeah,
immersion. You put right in, bro.
yeah, yeah.
Baptized.
So I think we're on to something. So
Yeah.
that's going to be cool, and then we got some other stuff coming up in August that we have some promo material that we'll be throwing out here shortly. So,
Cool.
man, I had an interesting conversation with um, our brother Chris Blackwell the other day.
Okay.
We were just,
Good.
we were just talking about, man, just trying to keep your, you know, trying to keep your edge up, man. In
Mhm.
terms of really as and I think this is obviously it can be for anybody, but for the older musician, as you get older, as you mature, you've done maybe a lot of different things. Maybe you've only, played locally, but you still had a career. So you've kind of been there, done that. Um, of course, there's always room for new adventures, but you see a lot of the same old, man.
Yeah.
It kind of is what it is. And I've talked to the various cats about this subject, and I get different opinions, different answers. Some guys, man, they're in straight work mode,
Mhm.
and they kind of have their things that they do, and they don't stray at all from that. They just do, whether they might have a church thing, they
Mhm.
may have a corporate band thing. Um, Basically, they're in situations where they already know what's coming. So when it comes to maybe curveballs that are thrown at you, especially musically, not so
Mhm.
much. You know, uh, but cats who are in like more improvisational
Mhm.
situations, I guess can still be same old because you might be playing the same old songs, you might be playing with the same people a lot. Um, what's the key to still wanting to get better? And then also you have guys who maybe they're not getting the calls anymore. Maybe they're, you know, uh, for one reason or another, um, they're not being called for maybe gigs that they used to get, or um, you know,
Well, do you
no
age
new
out?
opportunities are coming, or no new opportunities are kind of coming their way. So
Do you age out in this business though? I mean, is that something that happens? Like, I
I
mean,
think to a degree, I think that's possible. I think it's very similar to what happens in athletics. It's a
oh
different
yeah.
time frame. It's a little bit different time frame, but as you get older, of course you might get wiser, but your skill is going to change unless you really work hard to not only maintain it but to add to it and keep it up. And um I think, and always, and the biggest thing is always bringing a great attitude, man, to the situation. That's a tricky one too. I know cats that, it's like it's just not a pleasure playing with, not necessarily always because it's musically, it's just because they just always Debbie Downer, man. And it's like nobody wants to be around that, man. I
Mhm.
mean, I'm just being completely honest. So what let's just talk a little bit about what some of your keys, because you're busy, you're working on your doctorate, you've got a family, you've got responsibilities. Um, you know, we've talked, privately about a bunch of different topics on that subject. Man,
Mhm.
you trying to find 10 minutes, your 20 minutes where
Yeah.
your brain can just function in a way, and then you finally get a breather and you're in heaven. You're like, man, I actually get to
Yeah.
practice for a little while.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about that, what that entails. And let's just start from from your own experiences here recently of you have so much work on your plate versus How do you maintain and keep your skill up?
Yeah. Well, man, there's just so many facets to this that I could just only tackle them one by one. So, I mean, one would be technology, right? So, technology is influencing everything. How you advertise for gigs,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, the onus on us to advertise for gigs was flyers before. You put up flyers somewhere, you put creative loafing, put something in creative loafing. What now is it you're spending so much time on your computer or whatever trying to make videos, all these different things, but you have to put that together. Old ways are gone with that. I mean, you haven't even played a single note on the gig yet, and the advertisement is done differently. Let alone keeping up with the new things. Like I saw a bunch of drummers got that clap kind of symbol, whatever that junk is. I can't
Oh
remember
my gosh. Don't even
that.
get me
So,
started.
but I mean, if you're playing something, you have to play that sound is on there. If keyboard,
Okay.
I was
That's
down here
fair.
last night trying to configure some sounds on my keyboard for a gig that I have, right? Where I don't have to really live in that world, but once I get into that world, then I gotta come correct and learn the sounds. You can't just
That's
come in there and
valid,
play,
valid point, man.
right? So, and then okay, I'm learning sounds on the organ too, so I've got to go through that phase. We're looking that up. So then, so the technology changes everything. Tutorials, all these different things. I mean, let's be real. College professors or college programs basically say, "Hey, we want to enter into this new era of music." I'm like, the students can be able to teach you guys something because y'all don't know what's out there yet. I remember
Mm-hmm.
I went to a college class at Georgia State, and the guy who was teaching class was great, but he's taught the old way of creating a website. I'm like, people don't even create websites like that anymore. So the
Mm-hmm.
students in the class were like mad because like, man, I made my own website and it's better than his. So clearly people are not keeping up with the technology. If you got a new device for drums or a new device for keyboard, a new way of doing of recording, all these different things. Look, COVID changed everything with technology.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You had to find out new ways to create revenue. Then all of a sudden we see people live streaming or posting videos. Okay, now I got to learn how to be a video editor, right? I remember Melvin Jones put something together. He said, "Do you have a piano? Do you have a camera?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Great. I'll send you the stuff." I'm like, "What?" Now I gotta.
Mm-hmm.
What if I was set in my ways? Like, man, I'm not doing that. I know people who still have ADAT recorders that they use,
Mm-hmm.
and
Right.
I'm like, okay, you know, we can get Pro Tools, Logic, or whatever. Triggering triggering tracks now. The technology changed everything, so it's to keep up with things. Now, if you look at it from a historical perspective, as far as playing, we have a person who is a model for that, and that person is Miles Davis. You look and see when he had his second great quintet, Miles had been off trying to kick his drug habit, so he got off whatever other demons he was dealing with too, stopped playing for on the scene for a while. But when he came
Mm-hmm.
back, Tony Williams, Wayne Shorter, Herbie Hancock, they were all in Ron Carter. It was all in a different bag, different type of music. He
Right.
had to learn, even though he booked the gigs, he had to learn what they were doing. And that was a 19-year-old Tony Williams that was playing with him. So
Mm-hmm.
he had to learn what they're doing. And they said that Miles learned so quickly that you know, the first couple of gigs was rough, but then he started figuring out what's going on and started leading the charge. So they were actually still learning from Miles, but Miles had to have that youth around him to learn, right? And then he goes ensemble, gets an electric ensemble and puts a crybaby pedal because he's inspired by Sly and the Family Stone on there. So he was totally pushing the envelope and playing with other people with newer technology and figuring out how to bring about what was going on. But also he was a mentor to those young guys. He would learn what was going on and say, "Hey, we're gonna do this with it." So
So let me stop you right there
yeah,
just to
yeah,
talk about a couple of points that I think um, are super important.
yeah,
And you mentioned two things. You mentioned gear.
right.
Okay, and you mentioned working with younger musicians,
Right.
um, which is always a little bit of a tricky thing because let's face it, man. When you as you become what we call an old head, as actually we have a comment from the Peanut Gallery here, uh, and our resident leader in snarkiness, my brother John Chalden, says looking forward to finding out what I have to look forward to, what to avoid in the biz from you old heads, right?
Wow.
So I love it,
That's
right?
right.
Because look, here's the deal, man. You either are on your way to being an old head or you are an old head. We used to take that as, man, I don't want to play with them old. We still kind of, because we still have people that we consider old heads, man. I mean, in every sense of the word, we're gonna miss them when they're gone because
Yeah. Yeah.
there's a lot of good stuff there, but uh, we're becoming what to the younger people, we're becoming the old heads, and I'm fine with that, but to learn from younger people, I think is at least to know what's happening, to know what's going on.
Well,
You have to be in their world somewhat, man.
Hatcher it just illustrated my point right there. Is that Miles was working with only the finest young musicians, not just young musicians.
Okay, but that to me is a that's that's in the eye of the beholder, right?
Well, no,
Because
no, because it's got to be a mutual experience. Okay, so
well,
those cats,
what I'm saying is he said the finest.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You have to, so but what I'm saying is what I might think is cool may not be cool
No, you
to the next person.
no, no, no. When you get to a certain level, you know what kids got it and what kids don't. Which kids are hungry, which one can play.
Depends. It's all subjective though. It depends on
It's
what
not.
style of music you playing.
It's not. Any style of music, you can figure out the cats. How subjective is it if
How
you're a
would you
master
know?
at the craft?
How would you know who the hot country player is?
If you're
Don't play
observing
country.
cats, if
You
you
don't
if
play
you
country music though.
I'm not it because I'm not looking for the young cats. I'm not playing country music.
But that's my point. What I'm saying is, it's if I'm looking for, I'm saying that's my point. Is it's subjected to what kind of what cat you're or what type of individual you're kind of looking for.
I'm saying that it's not subjective. I'm saying that it may be genre specific. Like I can't
Right.
get out of my
I guess
genre and say
that's what I'm
I'm
saying.
going to play in a and put together a hip gospel band. But I'll tell you this: a certain person who used to be a rapper became a flute player. He got some really good musicians to play behind him.
Okay.
I was on a gig one time, and this person told me, who shall remain nameless, fired a person on the gig and said, "quote unquote," I can't be better than that person on the gig. I can't be better. That person can't be sadder than me on my own gig. That's what they said. They fired a person because they said the person was sadder than them. So clearly,
Okay.
that person wanted better musicians.
This
They
is
could
true.
tell.
Okay. Right.
They could
Okay.
tell that as soon as they
All
heard
right.
that person play, they were like, you
Okay.
can't be sad. Sadder than
Okay.
me."
Well, I think we're a little. I get what you're
Everybody could
saying.
tell. You could tell, Brad. You could tell.
Well, yeah, you know who has it, who doesn't.
Right, right.
There's no, I mean, you know, but you might be, who knows? In a few years, that other cat might go, what?
Oh
If
yeah,
he out,
definitely. But you can't be
yeah.
yeah, you that you can't tell.
We got to
I mean,
talk
it's
about,
always
because
gonna be
we talked about that earlier about
right. Somebody gonna work hard and edge it out.
somebody somebody is going to outwork you, man. And
But hey, if we're talking about sports, you drafting people, you don't know what they're gonna become. You talked about Tom Brady.
right,
They didn't know Tom Brady's gonna be Tom Brady.
the yeah,
Didn't know
uh,
uh Sam Bowie was selected over Michael Jordan
that's right. That's right.
and Akeem
So
Olajuwon.
so let's talk about gear is the next thing
Yes.
because now this is always a little because some cats are not into the newest stuff, right?
No.
They're
And
not.
some
I'm
cats,
kind of one of those. It's like, I keep up, but I feel like I've dialed in kind of what I like and I know where my sound is. So I know what I'm going. I'm not gonna necessarily like I mean the clapstick is not for me,
right, right,
It's not. It's because, I'm a number one, I'm against the grain on a lot of levels, as you know, anyway.
right.
But also
But you incorporate other things. It's not like that sound is not for you. But there's
it's
other
not it's
things
not
of
and it's but it's
innovation
not
that you do.
it's not for me because it's for so many other people.
Right, 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 right,
It's like I've always tried to, and the cats that I dig, man, they have a different, they're just different. They have their own sound. So that's what I try to
but
emulate.
that doesn't
Nothing
mean that
against.
you're not up on technology, though.
No, it doesn't. But but also the circles that you're in is going to also dictate, just like you said.
Right,
If
right.
you're in a situation where you have to have certain keyboard sounds,
Yeah.
okay, that's what is going to be needed for that particular situation. It doesn't mean that that's what you're going to use
No.
on your own gig, but if you're in that world, if I'm in the CCM world,
Yeah.
which is why I'm not in a lot of, because I've nothing against it, man. I mean, there's cats
You don't
that
wanna
are,
play tribal drums on the whole entire song?
look, man, I got no hate for cats
Boom,
that,
boom, boom,
because there's
boom,
guys that do that stuff
boom, boom.
way better than that, and they'll always do that stuff way better than me, and that's their thing. Is
Right.
is that thing, man? It's just not for me. But
Yeah,
uh if you're in that world, that's what you have. I mean, that's the
yeah.
sound. That's what they're looking for. So
Well, speaking of Charlton, that's what he has to do. I mean,
right.
and
I mean, and
he
that's,
he
yeah, and
got
that's
to,
totally, man. I got nothing. It's just like if you're a jazz drummer, you're not
right.
walking up there with Zildjian K, uh, Bryce,
Weapon of this
I mean, I'm saying Zildjian K, but I'm talking about a, like a better. You're not walking in there with a custom cymbals,
right, 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 right,
because it's not the sound of, it doesn't fit the
right,
music.
right, right, right.
So you play to whatever it is that you're doing, you know.
But you remember those, that new innovation called Hot Rod Deluxe sticks?
Yeah, I got some hot rods.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
at that time, they needed that sound or something that's in between brushes and
right.
sticks.
And it's still valid.
Right.
That still will come up. Yeah,
That was
sure,
the innovation, right?
absolutely. And if you didn't, if yeah, I mean,
People started calling for it. "Hey, man, do you
you
got some of
got any
that?"
hot rod? Exactly.
Right.
You know. So yeah, just like okay, let me throw one at you.
Sure.
The O1W.
O1W.
O1W was
It
a
started with the
must.
M1. It started with the M1,
Right.
though.
I was gonna go M1, but then I
Yeah.
said, let me go a little bit further.
Right, right.
Oh, everybody had the O1W, man.
Oh, dude, look, if you played in a reggae band, you had to have the M1 organ. There was no other organ that they used. And I got the O1W thinking that was gonna be the upgrade of that, and I played in one reggae band. The cat's like, "Hey, man, I need that M1 sound, man," like
That
that. And I'm
M1
like,
sound. That's what they want.
"Hey." But I still have my O1W, man,
Right.
but,
So being prepared for the gig that you want
right. Yeah.
is important. You
Yeah.
know, if you got bad tone, if
Oh,
you have if you don't have the right sounding equipment, doesn't mean, you know, it's running into Guitar Center and buying a five, whatever the latest. That's not always the sound, but not having what other people who are responsible for paying you are expecting
dude,
is a mistake.
I'm curious for guitar players because pedals and amp modeling simulation things are just changed up so much stuff. Like I did a session with Dan Bearzu, and he's like, "Oh, I don't even bring out the Fender Twin anymore, right?"
Just
Which
use
is
amp.
like, it's
It's crazy.
heavy, but it's the
Right.
sound and the vacuum tubes and all that kind of stuff. And he's like, "I got this modeling amp, you know." And I mean, Hatcher, maybe you can chime in on it. Hatcher has always been one that he doesn't have to. He's so
Had
good.
to make his own stuff.
Yeah, he definitely does.
He
I
make
could
his
bring
own
out a
stuff.
guitar and he added some modifications to it or something, but
Yeah.
he's one that he's really good at making things work that he has. And he's one of those cats, he'll tell you if you want to record. I don't know if he's still doing it, maybe you can chime in, Hatcher, but he used to record the ADAT. It's like, if you want me on it, I'll record an ADAT track to you and you can get it in any kind of format you want from there. And he'll be killing, he just needed to
Mhm.
make it work. So I'm curious now if he still does ADAT, because they
Mhm.
probably don't
Mhm.
even make the videotapes anymore that you format. So he's probably had to move on.
I mean, scaling down on
Right,
certain things,
right.
uh, it's a as you especially as you get older, it is a necessary. If it doesn't, if it I would say as long as it doesn't sacrifice
Yeah. And of
what.
course, we're not talking about fad stuff too. We're not like this is a 5 button down suit that's gonna be obsolete in in
Hey
1 year.
man, what's wrong with the Steve Harvey, man?
Right. You don't know
How's the
about that
cat still
SH
wearing the Steve Harvey, man? They still
exactly.
wearing it.
And those cats will show up on a gig and you're like, "Oh, okay." Oh, look at Bill answer the question. Let's see. There are young guys out there who have never owned a guitar amp. Wow, Hatcher. And yes to the ADATs. So you still have ADATs. And yes, he has plenty of tapes. So you must have just bought them in bulk, bro. Just like, how do you transfer it from ADAT? Did you give it to them and let them deal with it, or you just bounce it down through your computer? I'm curious to that because I have two ADATs that I haven't used and a BRC controller too.
Uh
So,
so yeah, so as long as it doesn't, what's the keyboard that you had you well, not recently, but within the last.
yeah, I had the Yamaha Motif, the
Okay,
Moe,
the
and now
Mo
I
8.
got the Mod X one.
Okay,
Now,
so why did you get the Mod X1?
okay, so okay, everybody loved the Nord, and that was the keyboard, the red keyboard everybody wanted to have, right?
Okay,
I just didn't like the Nord. It was boutique, it was overpriced, right? And
right.
then, but I was in the market for a new keyboard, and our good friend Larry Wilson was upgrading from the Mod X to the Montage. So he sold me the Mod X, and I was like, perfect. Now I have updated sounds and stuff and interface and all that kind of stuff. So I have all the sounds, but I wasn't utilizing it to its fullest potential till I started having a couple of gigs where I had to add in these pads and
Mhm,
velocity sensitive type of sounds and all that kind of stuff. So if I wanted those gigs, I had to do that.
mhm.
So
Now, but is that a lighter keyboard as well?
it's very much like way lighter.
Right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, it's so much lighter now. I think I picked up my old motif because I still have it in the studio, and it's so much heavier. I'm like, man, okay, but
Right.
I can't wait till they to do the keyboard stands from the cymbal stands that you guys have now. Technology changed where you're not
Mhm.
breaking your back on your what's the
Right.
bag that looks like a golf bag that you put all your hardware bags
Right.
in?
So the Yamaha Crosstown, which is, you know, shout out again to Larry Wilson. That was the first time I saw it. He
Right,
had it. Larry's a cat to go to, let me tell you, to see what's happening. But I saw he had it and I was like, man, what is this?
right.
And
He told you to pick it up. I remember that.
yeah. And this
Yeah,
was at we were at, I can't remember the name of the spot.
yeah,
It was the hotel over the Sam where where brother Sam Yee was running the session for on Saturday. It was like a Saturday thing or something.
yeah, yeah.
And but that was where I first, you know, I saw that and I was like, whoa, man, I got to check this out. I bought, and then it was like, no, no, not because of me, but it
Right.
definitely, cats
Everybody.
saw what they were like, man, okay, what's this?
Right.
So those are the little things that you can do to make things a little bit easier on you.
Right.
Is you find something that's maybe lighter, uh, something that's, especially, man, like with drums. I mean, we all had, we've got heavy, stuff that's super, and it sounds great. It's amazing, but it's like, do I really need this for the small room that I'm playing? No, I don't.
Right. No.
So you find something that works and doesn't kill everybody. That's the another thing. That's the thing I think for drummers, man, is that a lot of drummers, especially old school cats, um, they get stuck on a certain sound. It's just like a head. I was talking to uh, a drum maker about that.
Mhm.
And he was asking me about what heads do I like to use on my jazz kit, on my bebop kit, right? And I was like, definitely one ply for that, because I need the resonance, And I said, but man, lately I checked out some one plies on my rock drums. Man, they sounded great, but the feel is so different when you're
Mhm.
playing and it was like, and that's what cats get it. That the feel of whatever it is, and it's probably the same with keyboards. I've heard this, guitar, string, whatever. You get used to a certain feel
Yeah.
of something. That's really what's hard to break away from,
Oh,
man.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Is the how something feels, right? It could be like a chair. You used to a certain we just got my father-in-law new chair. It's a nice chair, but he got that old comfy chair that he's had for.
Right.
It's going to take him a second to kind of get you. I mean, he likes it, but it just takes you a minute, man, when you get used to how something feels. So I think that's
Well,
more the mental thing. Is okay, how do I readjust to something different,
dude, think about the iPad and how that's just changed the game for music, period. I
Yeah,
mean, like,
no sheet music.
right. You don't remember those singers used to bring their charts in the big old books? You
Mhm.
get one of them little wire stands, you fit
People
stand
still people still do. I see people still do that.
right.
They
But
can't get
now
off
you
the paper,
right, but now you could buy a couple of refurbished iPads and put all your material on and hand it out to everybody. But you
but
supposed to have a
they're not
oh,
wired like that.
man, what's the saxophone player used to have his own book? You go to the jam session, he'd bring his Bob Newman.
Oh, I never
Bob
remember
Newman
that.
with the red he
I
used to have a
thought you was gonna
red
say
binder.
Dave Bass, bro.
No, well, no. But anyway, Bob Newman, he had, like, different changes in his book, right? He would bring his book out, and, he'd bring that to everything, real
Mhm.
books. Dude,
Man, I
that
see cat. Man, you remember those days, dude? Cats
ah,
bringing 4 or 5 of them
real books, bro. Now
to
it's
the
on a
gig.
thing. Jamie Aebersold CDs, which was a huge technological innovation in its time, right?
Mhm.
Now, I mean, everything is online. Learn jazz standard on YouTube, whatever, or
Right.
backing tracks now, or iReal Pro, whatever. Look at that. iReal Pro was like $3 when I first bought it. I asked somebody to get it. You know how much the app is now? $19.99.
I was gonna say 20 bucks.
$20 for that app. And it keeps going up. It was just 13 the other day. I was like, it's 19.99. Oh, you got a you got a little response here about whatever.
Okay.
You want to read it or you want me to read it?
I'll read it.
Go ahead, read it.
Bill actually says, I personally don't give a hoot what gear musicians bring to the gig. I don't care what you sound like. Every situation is what it is. I'll work with you and support you no matter. Musicianship takes precedence over gadgets. Bob Newman just wanted to hear his changes he liked to hear. I
Right.
never knew that. So
Oh, man.
I don't really know.
But I mean, you have to have the intangibles first. You have to have the foundation. You gotta have a good sound trumps anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Tone.
gotta have that. Gotta have that. And you know a drummer when you go into a recording session, if they're a real cat, if they're going and tuning their drums or tuning the drums. You're like, okay. But some cats just come in and just start playing. You're like, dude, you got to tune these drums for this situation. So if you
Oh,
get
they
the
don't.
right sound,
They don't.
yeah, I don't care how many gadgets you have, the pressure sensitive thing that checks the pressure of the thing. I tune my drums to the minor thirds and the whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, bro, but is that right for every situation? This has nothing to do with the room. It has nothing to do with your ear checking it out. But
Well.
I digress. So like an iPad. All right, was on a gig the other day. Something you couldn't do back in the day. Somebody in the audience requested a song. I knew the song, I had the song. The bass player didn't. This was the second request from the audience member. The artist was like, "Can we do this?" And I was like, "Yeah." The bass player said no. Then the second song, I said, "Can we do this?" And I look at the bass player and say, "I got a chart, right?" He's
Mm-hmm.
like, "Okay." Back in the day, the bass player, because he's mobile, would have to come over to the piano and look over my shoulder, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
This cat had his iPad. I said, I can airdrop it to you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Within 30 seconds, I airdropped it to the cat. The cat gave me the okay sound. It came through. We were playing the song.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no mistakes in that because he was able to read the chart, right?
Right.
And we were able to fulfill the request. That
Right.
didn't happen back in the day. You just have to now your ear would be a lot stronger. You like if somebody had to do the song, you're like, I'll play you through it. Or if you like Bill Hatcher or Neil Starkey or whatever, you could watch the left hand of the piano player and that would show you what's going on. But technology has made it where look, dude, I've gotten lazier just for transposing. I used to be able to transpose like that. As soon as if somebody had a chart, it's like, hey, I have a chart, but I do it in the key of C. I'm like, okay, no problem. I can transpose like that. Now with our Real Pro, I just press the button, boom. And I've gotten lazy because of technology. It's a shortcut, it helps, but it's part of what it is. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So technology is supposed to make life easier for you and so you can do other things. I was telling the student the other day, they said, "Doesn't it feel like it's cheating if you have to do this?" I said, "Well, look, in New Orleans, every Monday we would have red beans and rice. Now you got to ask why would we have red beans and rice on a Monday in New Orleans? Because that was the traditional day to wash your clothes. So you could put the beans on and it'll cook all day, right? And then when it's time for dinner, the beans will be ready. That means if I was washing clothes, it wasn't in the washing machine. It's like I'm outside bringing the thing through the thing, rinsing it out, pinning it on the
Mm-hmm.
clothesline for it to
Close.
dry. Now,
Mm-hmm.
is it cheating when you got a washing machine? No, but
Mm-hmm.
the person who was washing clothes by hand is a lot stronger than the person who was washing the clothes by the washing machine.
I'll take the washing machine.
Well, you got to. Because now you can accomplish more things. I don't have to eat red beans on Monday, which why I don't really like red beans to this day. We
Ooh.
had red beans on Monday, and then we had the leftovers on Tuesday.
Ooh. You can. Ooh. Man, you're gonna start a fight.
Then I'd have lima beans on Wednesday, and then black eyed peas on Thursday because
Ooh.
there was a lot of mouths to feed in my family.
Right.
So beans was economical.
Well, technology, and we're not even necessarily going into the world of AI because that's a whole nother
Well, here
ball of
we go.
wax. Nah, not tonight,
We're
man.
gonna have to no, but we're gonna have to deal with it.
Well, we already dealing with it. You dealing with it whether you know you're dealing with it or not. So,
We got AI snitching on AI. Chat
but
GBT, people been getting them writing their papers. Now we have software that figures out if GBT wrote the paper for them. So
right.
AI snitching on AI.
But gear things because there's guys that they have every latest thing and they can't play
Yeah. Yeah.
and they don't know. But you know, and there's guys that haven't changed anything for the last you know,
Hey, bro, can you get a gig nowadays without your own in-ear monitors?
not on certain gigs you can't.
You gotta have I mean, you gotta have it, right? Even if you don't use
Mhm,
it every day, you gotta have a good pair of ears. You can't
mhm.
come from Delta with the little headphones that they give you and plug it in, think that you gonna play so.
Well, okay, so even in ears has different. Like I came across this wireless version
Oh, wow.
that it's a lot more economical, and also for again for certain situations it's great. Now if I have, if it's something big, it's probably not maybe the greatest thing, but if you have a good pair uh of the ears themselves, this is just the monitor, the monitor that's wireless, right?
Okay.
So, and it's
So you
wireless that
Bluetooth?
goes. Correct.
Okay.
Basically, kind of, but it's just a wire. It's like like the same thing, like a wireless guitar. It like so
Right.
that you have it plugs into the
There's a
mixer. There's
receiver, right.
right. You don't have to have
Right.
like the crazy Radio Shack, and you don't have to have that. You just have this. I'm just saying. I miss Radio Shack,
You
man.
just got you
Don't
just got you just got put in the old head position right there when you say
I
Radio
know,
Shack,
man.
brother.
Man, I love Radio Shack,
I
man.
did too, bro.
Uh, but so even there's like, okay, there's different. Okay, so maybe you don't need your, Scott meter. Yeah, I'm calling you out. That got the greatest pair of ear ever.
Molded.
I
Yeah.
mean, but that's his for
Yeah.
what he does, and trust me, it shows.
And he's been doing
Because
backing tracks for
but
years.
he been into that kind of stuff for
Yeah,
ahead of
loopings
people
and stuff.
into for years,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
So, I'm like, man, I can't go that deep. Just like, there's stuff he probably would say the same thing about me on some of the things that
Hey, our
I'm
brother
not going to
Eddie
spend
Wright,
$700 on a symbol. I mean,
brother
whatever.
Eddie Wright, rest in peace. He would
Oh,
try to convince you that a thick gauge cable is gonna make a difference in the sound and stuff,
this
you know?
cat, my man, $150 cable Eddie.
Yes.
Dude, they have cats going broke, dude. He had cats go mortgaging their houses,
Right.
man, for
And it's
for
I was like,
ge-
"This
for
sound is in your
for
hands, Eddie."
gear,
You just
man. And don't get it to the pick. He used to have
Oh, man.
these real thick custom made these, man. That cat, man,
Yeah.
was on another. So that's the extreme of what we're kind of talking about,
Right,
right?
right,
And
right.
I'm not throwing Scott out. Scott's a great case. He's
So
not as extreme as Eddie is, but I'm talking about like the cats that have all of that real next level. But then again, it's like the same. It's all kind of relative to what you're, because they would say the same thing about the like symbols or whatever that we're using, or keyboard or whatever. It's like all relative to your situation, man. As far as what you need.
well,
So,
you I think I wanna kinda segue into the playing aspect because we talked about technology, we talked about
gear, right? Yeah.
here. So you have, a gentleman who's already an accomplished drummer that takes lessons from you, John LaMartina, right?
Yep.
So obviously he's one that could probably chime in. Why is he taking lessons at this point in time in his
hmm
career? And it's obviously there's something that he wants to know that other cats are doing to
hmm
keep your edge, quote unquote, right?
hmm
So you can answer that question, but I'm gonna ask another one while we're at it.
hmm
Playing wise, what are some things now we got to keep up with in our playing to keep our edge? Like what should we be aware of now? Are there innovations that keep our edge up so people could not look at our gray beard and say, I need that cat on the gig?
You better keep an eye on these youngsters. That's all I can tell you.
Like
You better
what though? You
keep
got to be more specific than that.
it can't be. I mean, I'm just
Like
saying
keep an
relative to whatever you're.
eye on these youngsters, boy.
You better keep an eye on them,
Get some
because
skinny jeans, Brandon.
you better keep an eye on. Just keep an eye on them. I think it's important because if you're a sponge for information, I just want to see what's going on out there, man.
We you keep up with the fashion stuff. You came in that studio session with them crazy pants. I was like, "Man, look at this." All the old heads was like, "Man, it's crazy." The young person in the room was like, "Ooh, I really like those." I'm
I
like,
like those. It's like, see.
but
Nah, I
anyway,
mean, I you get to keep it. It's just like I think it's just like uh, you used to hear artists back when music was important. Uh,
ooh,
and there was actually a music
that's
industry.
great.
Well, back when there was like a real music industry, but I would hear guys like Stevie Wonder or Prince or like Herbie Hancock is a perfect example.
Right.
Who, man, is on top of tech. He is on top of tech, always has been, always will be, and he's not interested in what was already. He's interested in
Where did he learn
something
that
that
from, pray
can.
tell?
Hmm.
Where did he learn that from, pray tell?
MD.
Yep.
You know, so and we can go there. Is those cats weren't interested in what already happened,
No,
and they still aren't. You talk to Herbie, he ain't interested about what happened in 1960.
no.
You know, he's not interested in. Now, part of that is because he was he was there. He
Right,
was innovating in that era. So why would he want to go back to that? But
right.
the I think he's a perfect example of someone that is on the cutting edge. I mean, he was using a keyboard not too long ago, bro. I was like, man, what is that? I have never
Right.
even seen. Like, I was like, I'd never even seen. But of course, he's getting,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
you know, the creme de la creme from
yeah.
Japan or wherever, wherever the stuff is
But he
made or
was like
whatever.
that when earlier he was, like, working with synthesizers. I remember him being on Sesame Street.
Exactly. I mean, when Rocket came out, what was that, 84? 80,
Yeah,
maybe
something like
even
that.
earlier, 82, 80
Yeah,
something. Uh, so I think it's worth keeping an eye on, you know, uh, what is new information. Our brother Phil Davis who has a relationship with Herbie. I was having a conversation with Phil when we were talking about Herbie, and I said, man, I said, well, what do you guys, when you talk to Herbie? He said, man, I don't talk about music. It's like, what am I gonna? It's like I don't, he has nothing. I mean, what am I gonna? He said, we talk about tech. He said
right.
that's really um, what his first thing is, man. So I think that enhances. Guys want to be pushed forward
Right.
in what they're doing.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean following the crowd, but because there's people that do that too. But you have to at least keep an eye on whatever generation is going on for me. So, for me it's like um I think it comes down to stylistically how are people approaching the music now? You know, um regardless of what if I'm playing jazz or if I'm playing funk or if I'm playing Afro Cuban. There's just like so many phenoms in the world now that you have a chance to actually reach out to, ask questions, form relationships with, because everybody, I mean, not everybody, but a lot of those cats are do the social media thing. So you have an opportunity to see firsthand what they're doing. So I love that part of it. I
Yeah.
keep an eye, because man, back in the day, I mean, you would check out a record, you would just like, that was your only sort of, maybe if you got an opportunity to see somebody live, which was rare, that they were coming through wherever you were, unless you were in a huge, major city, that you could go see somebody. And even then, you don't get a chance to really interact with them. It's still going to be about, you seeing them play and you kind of trying to digest the music however you get it. But
Yeah.
now it's like, man, so that's what I try to like, man, if I see somebody that I dig, I'll comment, like, and at, just tell them I like what they're doing. And you'd be surprised at how far that gets you with certain,
Right. Right.
cats are cool. So, I mean, some cats aren't socially, they don't respond, and that's cool too. Some guys aren't, but it is a nice opportunity to see some of the seeds that they plant on certain
Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
and get ideas. That's what, to me, it's all about getting ideas of how do you I came up with that. We started playing Deluge the other day.
Right.
I
Right.
heard it. I heard El Negro doing something that gave me that inspiration to come up with
Right.
that. Like, oh my
Right.
gosh, that is so killing that he did,
Mhm.
so you come up with your own version of that. But that's what I would say.
Well, La Martina answers the question. He says, I want to
Okay.
be relevant as a player and a teacher. We have worked
Mm.
on Afro-Cuban odd time signatures and different sticking patterns that will make me more knowledgeable of my instrument. As a result, I definitely feel better about my playing and teaching.
I appreciate that, John. And sometimes you just need a fresh approach.
Yeah, well, let
Or
me echo that because
okay.
the kids come up to me all the time. I have things I want them to learn, and then I give them, their time to learn what they want to learn too, to see what they're interested in. And most times I have to stay up what's going on just so I could teach them. So they're like, I'll tell them all the time, it's like, if there's something you want to learn, send it to me. I'll check it out. Don't just bring it up in the
Right.
lesson and say,
Right. Right.
So, Corey Henry, Robert Glasper, all those cats are hot
Mm-hmm.
right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Whether I check them out or not is irrelevant. But my responsibility as a teacher is I got to do it. But
Right.
even going so far back as the Barry Harris videos are so hot right now on YouTube that kids are going back and watching those sessions and want to know about Barry Harris and his, six diminished six voicings and scale and all this kind of stuff. Well, now I have a responsibility as a teacher to go and have to learn that. And I've been incorporating some of those things into my own playing. And but like John said, as a teacher, I got to stay relevant because guess what? If I'm not giving those students that,
No
they're going to go on
question.
to somewhere else.
No question. And that man, that's a lightning rod right there,
Right,
because we've all had that kid that, or that adult that, the first thing that they'll say is like, man, I'm not learning anything new,
right,
from where I came from. Or,
right, right,
I'm a firm believer that any really good team, there's certain, you can get different things from different people. You're not going to get everything from one person.
right.
That's just fact.
No,
I'm a firm believer. I've heard you talk about this too, is studying with different people,
mhm,
because different people have uh, expertise in different things. Doesn't make anybody better, doesn't make anybody worse. It's just like, hey, this cat can break this thing down. Case in point, there's certain, you know, they are infinitely better teachers, maybe, than they are a performer, right? Their
right,
thing is teaching. And that's a deep skill that
mhm.
there's nothing wrong with that. If
No,
that's your thing, because we know a lot of people that perpetrate on both levels, right?
right,
So, um, you know, finding someone that can break things down in a way that you can understand them. And I guess I'm just talking about, the students here, is incredible. Don't just study with somebody because somebody told you to, oh man, this is the hot cat. You see that a lot too. And
yeah,
it's like, especially with the online world, Boone, with another subject we're going to talk about is the dangers of studying online, right?
right, right,
And Robert brought this up a couple of weeks ago. It might have brought it up in the chat, um,
mhm,
about the dangers of people getting seduced by studying online. Number
right,
one, why is that? Because they don't have to go nowhere. I get it. Convenience, just like you're talking about. I can airdrop a chart.
yeah,
Convenience is here to stay. There's nothing you can do about it. but the when you actually are trying to learn from an man, there is nothing like being one-on-one. Now taking a taking I'm not poo-pooing on online. I do online. Everybody does online lessons. If you want to do an online Zoom or
Right.
whatever,
Right.
but there are people that live and die by that, man. And I'm like, man, you will never. You're just all you're learning is you're learning. You're learning chunks of information that you will never be able to process in a musical way, in a musical
Right.
situation, because you're not getting that firsthand, what I like to call the beat down.
Right. 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 Right.
You're getting whatever you want, how you want it. Oh, you want to learn it? Okay, here it is. So there's a lot of dangers in that. And I really, for young people, I think you have to really be careful. I don't know what you have to say about that, but that's what
Oh
I
yeah.
think.
I mean, it's you know the FDA has to approve all these things. Like you get a new herb or something. He was like, hey, this is gonna cure cancer. This is gonna do this. You gotta it's gotta be FDA approved. You know what I'm saying? So not to say that the FDA is gonna do everything right without money, but anyway, could I read an excerpt from this book?
Sure.
The book is called "How to Make It in the New Music Business: Practical Tips on Building a Loyal and a Following Career." Right.
Okay. Okay.
So on the business side of things, this guy, I thought this was really poignant to your point when you said you had to learn things, right? Especially
Right.
technology.
Right.
It says, what else do I have to learn? It says release strategies have to evolve. Email, DMing, and text message etiquette have all evolved. Social media advertising and influencer marketing have exploded. TikTokers became a thing. Instagrammers became less of a thing. Success on Twitch became a thing. Twitter and Snapchat became more niche. And Facebook, I mean Meta, I mean Facebook, I mean whatever, Zuck. Press isn't what it once was. There is now an entirely new strategy on how and why to approach media and press. The Music Modernization Act in the US finally got implemented, and the Mechanical Licensing Collective, MLC, began collecting and distributing hundreds of millions of dollars in mechanical royalties to publishers and songwriters. This right here tells you that there's revenue that you can get now from mechanical licensing collective royalties. And now you got to be aware of that, because if you put something on YouTube, there's technology, AI, most of the time will sense that this is a song that you don't have mechanical licensing royalties to. And so you can't just take anybody music and put it up there without being saying I'm the owner of the music or paying licensing before. So of course that changes the way we do business now, right? As a
Mhm.
musician, are we more in charge of our craft than ever before? Probably so, because what did we have to do before? You had to hope to be signed by a record company. You about to release something right now. Did you go through a record company?
Nope.
And why would you?
Right.
Beyonce did an album. I think it was either Lemonade or the one before Lemonade. Totally in their house. Record company got mad. George Duke did it, his last record he released by himself. Why? Because people know him and they have access to him.
Mm-hmm.
So our business savvy has to be up to date. We have to keep our edge with business. Why? We're going to lose out on money.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to lose out on revenue.
Right.
Look at this platform.
Mm-hmm.
How much are you learning? How long did it take for you to get to this point? You could give classes on how to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But how much countless hours people didn't see that you were putting into this to learn what to do, and videos and tutorials and all those kind of things. That didn't
Right.
exist back in the day. You had to keep up with this to make it happen.
Right.
So, um, that's the way things work.
Right. And also just man, don't be um shameful about how you come by your information. You know,
Dude.
the only reason I knew about this was because I was watching gamers.
Right.
I was like,
Right.
wait a minute.
Right. Right.
So, which again is, I think, kind of falls into that kind of techie kind of, it's like,
Right.
watching, there's,
Dude,
like it
since
or
this
not.
person since this person opened up the door, I'm gonna show this post. I wasn't gonna say it. This is totally a coincidence.
Okay.
This cat AC, he said, I had my first lesson today with Dr. Jackson. That's funny. I'm gonna be Dr. Jackson soon, but I appreciate that, AC. I love his teaching style, and I'm a double bass player. All right. So now this cat hit me up through social media. Said my name came up a bunch of times. He was looking for a teacher or someone in the area. And my name came up. Now, already I've got a lesson with this cat. Had a great lesson today. This is a person who's, I'm gonna say, non-traditional, because students are usually 18, or below, right?
Mhm.
This cat definitely knows what he wants. It was a joy teaching this cat because he's stretching himself and he wants to be better at his craft, right? So those
Mhm.
are kind of people who are recognized. Now he could have stayed in his own little zone where he was, but he decided he wanted more and wanted to understand the
Right.
language.
Right.
So I'm happy to give information to those cats because it's like they know what that new knowledge or information is going to do for them. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So shout out to that cat, AC, for wanting to be better and to know the value of keeping up and keeping your edge. So, he could have just tried to do it all on his own,
Mhm.
but this is
Well,
going to fast track him.
there's also again, you're going back to, as we're talking about online, or only learning from social media, or only learning from YouTube, or,
Right.
shout out to these people on chess.com that's whipping my behind right now, because y'all been on YouTube getting all this free information. But it's only going to last for a little while. Y'all,
Right.
because you only have a small margin that you got. I just got to keep fighting through that little blockade,
You can bring
and
out the
then
old
I'm
man
I'm
tricks.
be whipping all of you. I'm like, man, these cats got all the little shortcuts and stuff now. I'm like, man, what is going on? Anyway, I digress. So I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to bring up
They
my
got some new
personal life
openings
on.
I need to know about,
I
bro.
don't want to bring up my personal life on this show, but I just had to get that one out. So, you know, yeah, as we've talked about many times, man, is mentorship is so important
Yeah.
to growth. And just like John Lamatina has, okay, I'm learning things from him, man.
Wow. See?
There's things that I went to his house last week, um, and saw his incredible studio, and his setup. And I mean, he's like the real. It's like, man, how you just, I don't know how to like, you might walk into like a new restaurant, right? They got all the shiny. I mean, everything is just glowing and
Right.
shine. They got the new tables. Everything looks incredible.
Right.
When the food come out, though, it's like,
Overpriced.
man, I see. I'm paying for this building is what I'm paying for, because I'm certainly
Paying for
not
this
paying for this.
atmosphere.
Uh, you paying for this napkin on the plate? You know what
Right.
that means. When you
Oh
see the
yeah.
napkin on the plate,
I
it's
definitely
over,
know what that
done
means.
deal.
I've seen it before.
But like going to John, seeing his setup, it made me feel like, I was like, man, I got a lot of work. I got a lot of work to do,
Right.
because it was like that old. It reminded me of going to my old drum teacher in my hometown, and
Right.
going into his house, going into his basement. Those cats were serious, man,
Yeah.
about teaching some music, man.
Yeah.
And that I got that feeling when I walked into his studio. It was old. It's like walking into that incredible Italian restaurant that's been there for like 60 years. And the character, right,
Right.
of what of everything. And I was like, man, I got to get some character. I'm
Dude,
kind of new. I got like, more modern, but I'm kind of half joking about it, but I'm being very serious at the same time. It's like, man, I got the history of what that cat is about. Like when I walked in there, and that's a beautiful thing, man, that I take, very seriously. So you
dude,
can,
but I think about it though. When I started taking lessons from Ellis, he had modern technology in his office, right? He had
mm,
this piano that had a disc machine that you put the hard disk in, and he
mm-hmm,
and he would record stuff and it would play the piano. It was that. Of course, then he was endorsed by Coca-Cola and they gave him like he had access to the new technology. But I remember he bought me a CD, gave me a CD. I said, I don't have a CD player. He said, that's why I gave you the CD. Because it's gonna
mm,
burn a hole in your hand. You're gonna have to play it on
right,
something.
got
It's
playing
like,
on
dang,
something.
he was exactly right. And he
Wow,
autographed the CD too. I was like, dang, now I gotta listen to it. And I knew he was gonna ask me next week, did you listen to it? So now I have to ask my
right,
mom, I'll
right.
work it off. Can you buy a CD player?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right,
Yeah.
right, right, right,
But
right,
he had that
right.
before I did, and I was younger, way
Wow,
younger than him.
check that out.
Or the
Wow.
little reeler machines, or the little cassette tapes where you could slow the track down and stuff. That was like cutting edge technology. And like Brad said, things used to be on the radio, but TV supplanted radio.
Hmm.
So what do
Yeah.
we have now? Do we listen to the radio? No.
Sometimes, I mean, XM radio. No.
Yeah, yeah, XM.
But yeah, I feel that, Brad. Thank you for that. Because that's kind of like what to get your information now. Again, you used to listen to the radio,
But you had
man.
to tune in. It was not as you had to tune in at the very
Oh, and
time.
yeah,
Yeah,
it was you knew
right,
when certain DJs were on and when they
right,
weren't and all that kind
right,
of stuff. And everybody had their favorite cat that they would
right,
listen to, and
right.
then I'll tell you, man, the wave, what one of the most pivotal points in, I think, in my life, just in terms of how I started to get my information, was when talk radio
Oh yeah.
came into play. Because especially like sports talk, man, I was 24/7 about that. Like national, like hearing, that was like a phenomenon to me.
Hmm.
Sports talk radio, news talk radio, um, you know, whether regardless of what side of the things, there was always somebody for you to check. That to me, man, is one of the most pivotal times, I think, in information history. When Because it was almost like you had somebody who you finally found a voice, because the national media is always going to be biased on one side or the other,
Yeah,
but when you
yeah.
find those those news talk or sports talk, or
When
I
you find
mean,
your tribe, yeah.
and more like like the locals are always going to talk about the locals, and
Right,
and
right,
different things. But I'm what 680 the fan for the sports, when
right.
that hit, man, that was like around 1994,
Dude, what about the Two Live
95.
Stews, bruh?
Two Live Stews,
When they
man,
came out, I was
which
like,
is what
"Whoa."
I actually have that template in my head for us,
Right,
was
right, right.
those cats were onto something,
Or
man. They
I
were
remember
onto something.
they interviewed David Stern when the show came on, they did the barking like the Q dogs. David Stern said, "What in the heck was that?" Yeah.
Man,
He's like, "What was that?" But he
they
hadn't been
were
privy to that
on
show, so you
something.
know?
They were on to, I thought, man, these cats are going to be nationally syndicated.
They were close. They were
They
very
were, I
close.
mean, you know, I'm trying to think of like Stephen A, all these people that are sort of like, ESPN, like all like that's what I thought those guys were going to be like on that level,
Yeah,
you
I
know.
thought so too.
But yeah, I mean, to me, that was a great moment, man, in and a game changer. It's like, okay, so now you're gonna get 24/7, of course it's all ESPN. When ESPN came in,
Right. Oh,
ESPN, that was
you forgot
19.
what he did in ESPN? What
So
MTV did? What about MTV? With
MTV, right.
videos?
But dude, ESPN, man, I remember it had to be about 70, 79, 80,
It
something
was
like that. I
changing the
can't
game.
remember where they're, but dude, and they, what was so funny about, because this is like, you know, you had your Chris Berman was a sideline reporter
Right. Right.
at the time. They didn't have sports. I don't think they had sports. It was more like they were just trying to figure it out. Like,
Right.
and I
Right.
remember them like they had one game. It was the Nebraska Oklahoma game. I want to say of maybe 81, 82. I can't remember what it was, but dude, they would just run that, and we would just watch it, man. Because it was
Right.
like, it would be on like 4 or 5 times a day, and it was like we would just watch it. So those kinds of moments, man, in terms of getting your information, those were huge,
Yeah.
huge breakthroughs. Now we have what? Podcast, you have live streaming,
You have cats
um,
controlling their own narrative. Gil's Arena,
cats controlling their own
Shannon.
narrative.
Shannon doesn't have to
Right,
even be on the sports thing anymore.
right,
Like he
right,
left Fox with your
right,
boy for
right.
whatever
It's
reason he left.
powerful, man. Yeah.
But look what he's not even just interviewing sports people. His Cat
Mhm.
Williams episode probably just
Broke the
killed
internet.
everything, is right? So that that show, that
Rick
kind of leads
Beato.
me.
I mean, in our
Yeah,
Rick Beato, love
yeah,
him or hate him,
yes,
talk about a polarizing figure,
right,
but you cannot deny the information that
right,
he just
right,
did one on. He called it WTF.
right,
Which-
right, right,
but it was like he basically broke down like what has happened to why music is devalued the
right,
way it is.
right,
And
right.
it's about a
Yeah,
20-minute episode. Uh, but he breaks down the whole, how hard it is to be good at
right,
this, at playing just to be, what it takes to get a good drum recording, what it takes to get a good piano. All of those things take skill,
dude.
and
Look
people
how
do not want to deal with that anymore, man. They
look how
want
technology is getting retro. Tiny desk concerts. No separation. Everybody in the same room. That's what
right,
that's what we've been doing for the longest time.
right,
Getting a good sign, learning how to play within that environment,
right, right,
recording on an SM58, 57 microphone, not having all
right.
this technology at your fingers, and a
Well,
video camera on you in the same room at the same time. And
right.
you have to perform.
He
You
brought
can't
that up.
hide. You can't hide.
He brought up going from Sinatra
Right.
with one microphone
Right.
and the orchestra,
Right.
right? And him having to mix himself, right? Because this is what you kind of had to do. This is what the magic in a lot of these old recordings is. These cats were mixing themselves, man. I mean, uh greatest, one of the greatest, but I think, one of my favorite drummers, John Bonham from Led Zeppelin. People always talk about his drum sounds because he could mix himself.
Right.
It's the dynamics of what he played, of how he played each individual limb with, you
Right.
know, that's a skill
Right.
that now cut and paste.
Yep. Compression.
It's
Limiter if you're
it's
too loud.
it's so,
Drum
you know,
replacement sounds if your sound is crappy.
man. So I was going to bring this up. Well, not well. I wasn't going to bring it up, but I'm going to bring it up now. So, great drummer, Studio Cat, Live Cat, Steve Haas, who I follow. Um, he made a comment about that he feels like it's wrong for actually talk for. So I'm gonna bring this. This is actually very interesting what he says.
Well, I'm glad you said that because another point I was going to make about this keeping your edge is learning how to diversify as well.
Mhm.
This is from a person who was a musician. They say during the past 20 years, my career as a musician has brought me from being an enthusiastic keyboard player and music educator to becoming a musician who has learned significant parts of the language of therapists,
Oh,
medical doctors, psychologists, and experimental educators. So this person has transitioned from playing 20 years as a musician, as an educator, to now as a music therapist. So they're able to still do what they do, but in a different way. And you know, let's take you for example as a drummer. Do you think that certain things you do playing the drums would help in therapy, physical
definitely,
therapy? Yeah,
definitely.
certain movements do. So one day maybe somebody's gonna approach you and it's like, hey man, can you come to the hospital? We need this patient to work on this motion with their shoulder or their hands, but they're just not getting it with just doing the weights and stuff. We need you to come and do a drumming class. You
Hmm.
don't think you would do that?
Definitely would do that.
Yeah, and you probably do that before doing some other gigs. Like, oh
Hmm.
yeah, that's my new gig. And then
Hmm.
you'd immerse yourself in it, and so diversifying your skill set to include new avenues is a way of keeping your edge as well.
Right.
You know, so maybe you were a keyboard player and those movements work well with things, or maybe that you are now doing corporate work, doing seminars about how to work together in a band because it's a democratic process in a jazz band, you
Man,
know.
you're giving away secrets, giving them
Oh, I'm
away,
sorry. Yeah, don't do that.
giving them away. All right.
Don't do that.
So check this out. So if there's drummers, I think this is kind of a. I was thinking of. I thought about this a lot just over the years. But Steve says that electric drums should be used as a sound and texture choice
Hmm.
rather than a quick fix for drummers' shortcomings or an audio engineer's inability to mix a room properly. I'm loving that. I mean,
I love that too.
so okay, so dude set off a bomb today.
Really? Why?
Yes.
Why would he have opposition on that? That's just so. It is the right thing.
One cat, whatever sounds good. You might be surprised how many people program drums and you don't even realize it.
Why does
Uh,
your voice change with these comments?
because this is what these people sound. You'd be surprised how successful Mr. Apple drummer has been in the musical world. It's a combination of cost, access, and talent level that informs these choices for musicians. Dude, and he's just like, I'm just, bro.
He's
I've
a
had
younger
multiple
drummer.
occasions. I've had multiple occasions where both were needed. Let me see.
So
All
you
that
say
matters.
mostly
Hold on,
needed.
hold on. I love this one. I love this one. All that matters is the end result. If samples are better, then use samples. Anything else is ego and gets in the way of quality. It's like,
Ego.
shut the
Ego. Are you serious? Fully agree on
let's
the electric drum.
call it what it is. These
It's
congregations
sad.
use electric drums because they hire cats who can't play with dynamics and they don't have a qualified sound man to mix the band. That is the only reason. That's the only reason. Come, I mean, pull up if you just. I mean, I'll go all night on this one because I see it.
Here's a you need to read this.
What do you say? Shout out to the church in the Greater Atlanta area. who makes us play electric kits because they hire drummers that don't play with dynamics in the past.
These churches have the electronic drum kits that the drummers who can control their sound gotta play because of the people who can't control their dynamics. What about the cages? What about the plexiglass that y'all gotta
Well,
play behind?
you know, I there's
Wet.
certain that to me can also is kind of a form of separation. So I'm not as crazy about that. I mean, I'm not as hard on that, even though I don't like it because I think there's still options.
Y'all be
But
sweating in there, bro.
I'm not look, I'm not for it. You know me, man. I'm
Right,
like,
right,
but
right.
what I'm saying is I understand that one a little bit more. But you know, uh the elect that is just a free it's just ridiculous, man. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's exactly what Steve was saying, exactly what I just said. That's the only reason you have it.
Bruh. I'm not gonna say that.
Drummers that can't play with dynamics and you have a horrible sound person.
Yeah.
I mean, no, say it, man. This is our platform. You can say whatever you want. I'm over it, man. It's like, I mean, why do that's the thing about like the sound man thing, man, is why is it always our fault if something isn't it doesn't sound right? Why is it always? I mean, I'm just being honest. It's because you don't know what you're doing. That is the only reason. Why do I have to teach you where a hi-hat mic should be placed or where the overhead should go on a drum set?
All I can
Or
say to that is
or
you better.
or the snare drum mic goes on the top. Now, if you have two mics, yes, you can do top and bottom. I've been in situations the snare mic is on the bottom only.
Gotta get those raps, bro. Got to get the raps.
I'm playing straight ahead jazz. All they got is a kick drum mic.
Oh, that's one for you. You go
Well,
do a
I'm just saying. I mean,
straight ahead jazz thing.
we could
You
go
tap
on and
that bass
on.
drum. You go to
We
feather the
can go
bass drum.
on, and you want me to
Boom.
keep going?
Keep
I
going.
mean, it's like it's crazy that people can get jobs in places where they just have. I mean, I get it. Frustrated musician. You can't get no gigs. Oh, do sound. Okay. Well, just because you have equipment doesn't, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, man,
You don't
the
have the iPad
greatest,
where you can walk around and control the sound, bro? You don't have that?
man, dude, I think that's a big reason why live music isn't isn't as popular as it used to be.
Well, we gotta trust the sound, man. We've been working on our sound all these years and stuff, and we just have to trust that they're gonna replicate our sound like we hear it in our head. Just gotta trust it. So when
Yeah,
you
but they
find a
have to
good sound
understand. They
man,
have to understand music
yeah, yeah. You know
first.
what I hate as a keyboard player? Can I go on my little rant?
Absolutely.
Do not control my sound when I take a solo. I know how to play with dynamics. I can play loud when it's time for my solo. I can play soft. Stop adjusting.
Nah, man, we need all the compression.
I said I don't need. Don't put
Cut.
delay on
We
the
go.
lick that
We
I
go
play.
cut all your notes off.
I play
All we need
ba-da-da,
all the compression.
bro, I play this lick, ba-da-da, and I hear ba-da-da, ba-da-da, ba-da. Are you adding delay to my lick? Why? Why am I hearing echo when the vocalist goes, "Oh, I love you, love you, love you, love you, love you." We didn't ask for that. Trust my process. Now I'm making adjustments because the piano is so loud during my solo, and I'm like, why are you? I have to tell her something. Hey, are you putting a limiter on my channel? They look at me. How do you know? I said, I feel like I have no dynamic range. Then the person says to me, That's because sometimes y'all come in here with these keyboards with these loud horn sounds. I said, dude, I'm not going to do that. I regulate the sounds in my keyboard to make sure they match or lower or whatever. I'll attenuate that. Stop controlling my sound, bro. Oh, Bill Hatcher says, our worthy opponents, the sound man.
Why does it have to be like this, man?
Bruh, stop enhancing my song. Think
Now,
that you're gonna add to
look,
it.
musicians are not exempt from this. There's a lot of musicians who have absolutely, you know,
Killed.
killed, playing too loudly, bringing the wrong gear to a gig.
Yeah.
You know, the drummer's going to get it first, man. You
But that's how
the
you
whole
but that's how you keep your edge, right? We're saying keeping your edge, knowing how to play your instrument
bro.
for the situation.
That actually leads to more gigs. And
Thank
I
you.
say that with all humility because I learned that the hard way. You have to,
Right.
learning to play a room, you instantly knowing you walk into a room, oh crap, okay, this is going to be all right. You have to, and that's the now again, younger guys don't always know it. Some older guys don't know that. Okay.
Mhm.
I mean, anybody that wants their, if you're in a Fernbank museum and you want the mics and you want a mic on every drum, there's a problem. Okay, we have a problem with this, right? It's like, I mean, that's just absolutely asinine. But you're you know, I always try to make the sound man my friend because it's like some guys because it's very I mean, I don't know what happened to that trade. Uh
It's usually a white cat with a ponytail that can dial up some good sound.
God.
I'm sorry, I had to say it. It's usually a white cat with a ponytail.
Well,
They will dial up some
what about
great sound.
I see the black cat with the ponytail too.
They are not. They do. Please do not. If you see
Catfish
them,
Station, bro. Did you ever play Catfish? I'm talking about. I'm actually trying to call my man Flash out right now because he was great sound man though, but
right,
he had a little tried to add a little ponytail in the back, man.
right.
Oh, it was like Flash, man. What you doing, man?
Watch the
Like,
cats who have a hairline like mine, but a ponytail in the back. Watch those cats. Their hairline is like this, but they got a rat tail in the back, bruh, and they working sound. Say, nah, bruh, don't do it. Don't do it. Cat is coming to tell me about. I got the SM 55,000 cc's, and I took a little one with nah, bro. You don't need to talk to me like that, bro. I know what the hell you talking about, bro. I got the AKG 5000 because it takes a little. Nah, don't talk to me about that, bro. Just do your job, bro. Bill Hatcher told me about George Benson recorded on a SM 57 or something like that microphone. They wanted to give him a really, really good microphone. What's that? What's his classic song? Masquerade. That was on a SM 57, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Hatcher. So anyway, sorry,
yeah, I was gonna say something so
sorry.
unpolitically correct, man. But I'm not gonna say it. It's funny, but I'm not gonna say
Yeah, EV666. That's what EV666. Right.
I don't even know where to go. I don't know where to go after this.
But when you say keeping your edge, it's really like the edge of a knife has to be sharpened, right? So you can cut. So you get things dull. It's not gonna cut the same. You're gonna have everything.
How did we even get on this subject?
I don't know, bro. I don't know. They'll say that was a scratch vocal, by the way, and they kept it. So for George Benson on Masquerade, one of his most famous tunes, or can I say the word iconic? One of his most iconic songs. It was a scratch vocal, and Bill said they kept it.
Man, there
Everything comes
is.
full circle sometimes too. So hold on to your technology. Your old technology might be new one day. If I sell this Fender Rhodes, I'd make so much money off of it right now.
Ooh,
I'm not selling it though.
Neil Starkey got all his records up at University of Georgia.
Oh, please don't talk about Neil Starker with Bill Hatcher over here. He's been selling his stuff. I can't even get no good deals anymore, bro. Dang it, Bill Hatcher.
Did Bill buy all those credible vintage pedals from
No, he was
Neil?
brokering the deal. He
Oh, he was brokering the deal.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was gonna buy a bunch of pedals. And so I said, man, I don't want to cheat you. He's like, well, I'm gonna talk to Bill Hatcher because he's on. Within 5 minutes, Neil Stark called me back and said, hey, man, giving a bunch of stuff to Bill Hatcher. He's gonna sell some stuff on eBay. I was like, dang it. Oh, did you know the accordion thing is big? Bill Hatcher is selling accordions, making money over that. Everything comes full circle. Bill wanted to buy back the accordion that I had that he gave to me for $50. Like, nah, bro. I know what this is. I am not selling this junk bag. So everything comes. What about the Vista Light kit? I thought I would never see that again.
Man, I just went to see that African rock group at
oh yeah,
Terminal West.
Yeah.
And the opening band, she was playing a blue Vista Light kit. Man, they were killing. They sounded incredible. Damn.
That's why I'm keeping this 01W. It's gonna come back. Somebody gonna want it. I need to look it up. Well.
Yeah, man.
I think that's a wrap now.
I know we got new people coming in, but man, I'm going no further after that. But this was a stuff we will keep talking about this. I'm gonna post Steve's comment. I'll probably put that up on my Facebook. I just feel like that's a really, I mean, I don't know, fight me. I mean, fight him, whatever. It's like, I don't know what's the equivalent of that in the keyboard world. I don't know if there is one.
For what?
For the electronic drums.
Oh yeah, let's see.
You'll think of something.
Yeah.
So
keyboard in general. Oh yeah, it's the keyboard because I played for this place, had a really expensive piano. And now that piano is in a hallway somewhere and they just got a keyboard. They got the keyboard in a shell that looks like a piano, like an upright shell, to make it look like a piano.
Oh right.
Yeah.
They
got a like $180,000 piano.
Wow.
It's not being used.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's
right, because they got to keep it tuned, and you got to have somebody that can actually.
Yeah, man.
You ain't got to go through all that.
And you got to mic it, and the mic is like it's gonna bleed and all this kind of stuff. Nah. Beautiful. It's a beautiful instrument that I got a chance to play on.
We ain't going through all that.
No. They talked about converting that expensive piano into putting pickups on the like this Earthworks pickup thing that you could trigger MIDI from. And to stop the hammers from doing, they put chains across the strings. And when I played that, I said, no. I said, absolutely not. Just get a keyboard. Don't do that to this instrument.
Wow.
Why are you converting this instrument to just play MIDI only? Just get a keyboard. Why would you do this?
Wow.
So anyway,
Yep. Well, thanks, guys. We will see you all next week. Please subscribe to the channel if you're on YouTube. Looks like we got one AC. We got a new viewer. Did he subscribe, though? I don't know if he subscribed.
we'll tell him
Check
to
this out.
subscribe. We got
You gonna make him. Hey, man, you want this lesson?
You want this lesson? Subscribe.
Pull Mr. Clubber Lang on you. Hey, woman. Hey, woman.
Bro, look. I train alone. I eat alone. I live alone.
It's the greatest, man. There is no. It is. He should have got support. Should he have not gotten best supportive actor, man? I mean,
should have gotten it, bro.
Should have. Who won it that year, man? We got to look that up.
I eat alone.
That's the.
That way, ain't nobody can take the credit.
I mean, why don't you bring your pretty little self over to my apartment? I'll show you a real man.
He jumped on that one, didn't he? That's why Rocky wasn't gonna fight him until that happened.
Broke him. That broke him. We're talking about Rocky 3. If anybody really needs any explanation. Come on, Creed. Here.
Yeah, Creed. Just what I thought.
Hey, boy.
Hey, boy. Hey, boy.
Oh,
after I finish with him, you next.
Yep.
After I finish crucify.
After I crucify him, you next. Crucify.
Bro,
who said you gonna crucify? You know what that means?
Then he said, "You next." After I finish crucifying
him. Do you
him.
understand what that means? He's gonna do to you. It's a slow death. It's a painful. You're gonna watch your own demise.
You're gonna feel every piece of pain. And then after I finish doing to him, you next.
You want to jump? Jump, Creed. Jump. I mean, I could go on, man.
Oh man.
That's iconic.
I don't want nothing from no has-been. I don't want that in my corner. Something like that he said, right? I gotta look at that. He said, I don't want none of that.
Yeah, I want no has-been in my corner. That's what he said. That's what he told him. That's what he told Apollo. I want no has-been in my corner. He don't want no has-been in my corner, man. It is. It's a masterclass. It's a masterclass on trash talk. It's a masterclass. It's like it's the greatest. And you know what's so funny, man, is I don't know if you follow. There's two Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair. There's two pages that, like, man, it is hilarious, man. But Dusty Rhodes, man, he used to. You can tell those cats like idolized and followed Ali, all the great fighters, all the great trash talk. They would take. I mean, it was
Macho Man, bro. Oh yeah, oh yeah. When you come out of here, like whoa. And what was the guy that used to announce it with the bald head, like with the mustache and stuff? He would be ragging on him so bad, bro.
Oh man, I miss them days, man.
Oh, bro.
All right, everybody. Thank you for. If you have comments about what we've talked, man, that's really what we want. Is
right.
Tell us what you think about what things we're talking about, and
oh yeah,
you have ideas of subjects, whatever, man. We don't have to always agree. We don't always agree. It's like, man, that's the beauty of when did everybody start having to agree on everything, man?
Yes. Why?
That's sad, man. Sad. Yep. I've learned a lot of stuff that I didn't agree. Later on, you're like, oh boy, they were right. Same thing with people disagree with, like, oh, he was right. That's the beauty of maturing,
Right. From Kimberly Gordon, so true.
What's up, Kim? Chicago's finest, jazz singer extraordinaire, and
I never worked with
gourmet cook.
What?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Kimberly. Come on, Kimberly.
Oh yeah.
Kimberly, I'm a piano player that's hungry.
Man, flutist, bro. Flutist swears by her cooking, her food.
Okay. I'm coming up to Chicago.
Yep.
I was trying to get it with flutist when I was out there, man. We just couldn't make it work, man.
Flutist busy, man.
Man.
He probably, you know. But
We
we got flutist content coming. So y'all.
Oh, Kimberly said, come on up.
We gotta do, man.
Yes.
I gotta take you to Rockford. We gotta get some pizza in Rockford. We're gonna come back up to Chicago. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna do some playing.
Gotta play.
And
let's do it.
We're gonna do it, man. We're
coming to a city near you.
Yeah.
Kimberly.
Kim will let you know when we are in the area. And Kim knows people. Kim can hopefully
Flutist loves my coffee yogurt.
Coffee yogurt, bro. Come on. This is what I'm talking about, man. She got all this coffee yogurt, man. I mean, she got stuff, man.
I'm gonna request all kind of food songs too.
The days sauce, bro.
Wine and roses.
Frim fram sauce.
Frim fram sauce. Peel me a grape, all that stuff. Yeah, probably
you can swing.
I like peel me a grape, but it's so doggone slow in long form.
Yeah, man.
So
Kim can swing. She can swing, man.
Man, okay. I'm gonna have to
all right, y'all. Well, thank y'all so much, Bill, John, Brad, Boone,
yep,
Kimberly, all the other people, John, I already said, for hanging out with us, Lamar, Nick, the Foot, Podhorser, Brian teasing us from New Orleans. I told him, I said, man, go back to, I said, you eating beignets and po' boys. And he was like, wow, you were right. That's exactly what he was doing. Wow. Maybe I think that's what he was talking about. Okay. Sigwell, my man.
Sig.
All right, guys. We will see you all next week. Peace.